And after you leave a like, remember to smash the subscribe button if you haven't subscribed to my channel as yet. And remember to hit the notification bell so every time I post a video, you can know right away. Subscribe, 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 subscribe. What's up, my YouTube friends, viewers, subscribers, everybody? Welcome back to another motivational video. Let's get it. Learn to remove yourself. And the reason I say this is most times things happen beyond their control because number one, you don't control what another person may do. Number two, you don't control what another person may say. You don't control those stuffs. So sometimes we tend to find ourselves in the wrong places at the wrong time. That's what we tell ourselves, but in reality, you know exactly what was going on. I wouldn't say you're at the wrong place at the wrong time. I would say you saw what was happening and you stayed there. Most time you have to remove yourself from various situations. Things that you don't want to be around, you have to remove yourself because guess what? The only thing you control is what you're doing. You don't control what somebody else is doing. So doesn't really matter, say, what situation it is. From you don't feel like it's anything pertaining to you, like growth wise, I would recommend you strongly remove yourself. Anything that's like breaking you mentally, spiritually, and physically, and verbally, and socially, remove yourself. All those people that are like draining you, that you don't feel like you need to bring that unnecessary dead weight, you got to remove yourself. Trust me. If you're in a relationship where you're not happy and you don't feel like it's going nowhere and then you don't think it's meant to be, I strongly recommend remove yourself. Because people will literally come to you with their nonsense and all their weight. You ever had somebody come to you and when they're around, everything just feel like there's a weight on you? Never had it happen to you before? If you're not spiritually, then maybe you won't know. But trust me, you got some people that whenever they come around, especially negative people, remove yourself from all those negativities. Whatever sound like it's not putting you nowhere, or business wise, or coming together and making things move forward, remove yourself. All those nonsense garbage, remove yourself from it all. Because right now, it's work time right now. I don't know how a lot of people still wake up every day and look all over the place like they live in a fantasy world. We live in reality where the sun shines every day. So all that time you spend with people that's doing absolutely nothing for you, you got to remove yourself. Because if you stay with them, they're going to drag you down with them. And like I say, people with a lot of time on their hands tend to do a bunch of nonsense. You got to remove yourself, man. The only thing you do control is your own mind and removing yourself. You don't control what somebody else may do. Especially if you go somewhere and someone is trying to pick a fight with you, or somebody's trying to disrespect you or embarrass you or whatever, remove yourself. Do not waste your time and energy on people like that. You see, people that behave like that, especially out in public, are generally miserable. That's why they behave like that. Because people that are miserable always want everybody else to be miserable the same as them. People that are broken always want to take out their anger at somebody else. So you gotta remove yourself, bro. Learn to remove yourself. That's one thing a lot of people don't know. Because say if you go somewhere and then someone's trying to fight you or someone's trying to argue with you, you're arguing back. No, sometimes you gotta be the bigger person, the more mature person, and put your say career in front of you and say, you know what? My career is more important than you. So I'm not going to go sing to your level and argue back and forth with you and then put myself at risk. Because we live in a world where you may be here today and tomorrow you may be in jail or somewhere else. So I would strongly recommend for all you guys that are quick-tempered people, learn to remove yourself. Because at the end of the day, when you, like people that are miserable, when they're arguing with you and you go argue back, you're putting yourself at risk because that's what they want. They want to take out all their pain that they're feeling. They want everybody else to feel the same pain as them. So in reality is you got to remove yourself. Be the bigger person. It may be hard for you to walk away when somebody disrespects you, but remove yourself. Make yourself at peace. Remove yourself from all those negativity. Whenever people are coming around you and they're shooting down everything that you're trying to do, and it just sounds like it's more than what you're bargaining for, remove yourself. You'll feel a lot better. You know how easier and faster it is when you say focus on yourself and do something yourself. Like let's say you're doing something pertaining to your career or whatever it is that you do. Whatever it is that you do. You know, it's way easier when you do it yourself, because if you're doing it with somebody else, then it's more time and more effort and more energy you have to put in to do something with somebody else. If that makes sense, because you're going to have to try to control them and you can't control another person. So in reality, you got to learn to remove yourself. If someone is there pertaining to whatever you're doing for yourself and they want the same thing, then it's okay. For negativity, nonsense, all those kind of, remove yourself from all those kind of stuff, because all it's going to do is strain you and make you feel like you don't even want to do something with yourself. This is why there's a lot of homeless people out there, because they probably did the same thing. They spend way too much time doing nonsense and garbage. And homeless people are not really say stupid. They just don't have a home, because maybe they did a bunch of nonsense and they were in jail and then their family moved away, or parents moved away and then they have nobody, so now they're homeless and don't have nowhere to go because they don't know nobody. That's reality. We live in a world where whatever you do today will affect tomorrow. And I always say this, and I don't think a lot of people notice it. Like, this is the reality. Whatever decision you make right now, today, it affects tomorrow. So all I'm trying to say is, in order for you to be in a really, really mature and peaceful state of mind, you have to remove yourself from all those nonsense that's like draining you and breaking you. Whatever feels like it's way too hard than what it needs to be, I recommend remove yourself. Don't put yourself in a relationship that's like draining you and breaking you. Remove yourself. And friendship, because friendship is one of the biggest things nowadays. Like, people put themselves with bunch of friends. Oh, I can't stay alone, I have to be around 10 other people. 10 people together, you'll think they will come together. Like, that's 10 brains right there. I put 4 fingers on. That's 10 brains right there. And you think 10 people will sit down in a room and start brainstorming of ideas and stuff to do together. But no, all they do is sit down and waste time. You have to, if you are one of that people where you feel like you want to do more than the average guy, in order for you to make that step forward, and I'm saying this from my experience, in order for you to make that step forward, you have to remove yourself from all those people that are doing absolutely nothing with themselves. Because all that's doing, if you're hanging around with people that are doing nothing for themselves, you're going to end up being the other one that's doing nothing for themselves. If they want to laugh at you because you want to do something, don't worry about it. Do whatever you want. Because at the end of the day, your future is only going to be affected by you. And whether you achieve anything in this world is only going to be on your behalf. So you have to decide what you want for yourself and for your life. So you can't waste your time. Remove yourself from all those friends that are doing nothing. They want to go out and they want to do this. Don't worry about it. Let them go out. You work on yourself. Because you know what's going to happen? The older we get, they're going to have nothing to show. And while you are working, you have more to show. You have to remove yourself from all those things that are breaking you, draining you. Anything that feels like it's more than what you're bargaining for, or it's harder than what it needs to be, I strongly recommend remove yourself from them. And one of the other reasons why I say, if you want to do something with yourself and your friends are doing nothing with themselves, you have to remove yourself. Most times, the reason why a lot of people never really started what they really wanted was because they're scared of what somebody else may say. Why are you worrying about what somebody else may say? People, like I already said, people that have nothing to do, they have the most time on their hands to throw garbage on somebody else. So you have to really look within yourself and say to yourself, you know what? This is what I want to do in my life, and I don't really care what nobody have to say. I like it, and I'm going to find a way to get it. If I can get paid from doing it for future-wise, I'm going to go after it. But most times, a lot of people never make that step forward because they hang around with bums. And in order for you to make that step forward, you have to remove yourself and put yourself in a different state of mind. Most time it's the environment that you're around. People that are always negative, it's surrounded by negative people. Let me tell you something. People that are always quick temper and always want to go cause trouble, like troublemakers. Notice, if you see 5 of them, all 5 of them are troublemakers. People put themselves around things that they like and things that they're interested in. I've said this before, and I'm saying it again. So, if you're the type of person where It's friends you grew up with and you enjoy their company. Because let me tell you something. When you outgrow somebody mentally, you can feel the difference. Because you may sit down with them and you may talk and you may laugh. And then as older as you get, you don't want to sit down and you don't want to talk and laugh no more. Because you're getting serious with your life. So that's why most times those people that want to do something with themselves, that's why they remove themselves and go get a job, to go work on themselves and leave those ones in. Most you have to leave those people behind. Trust me. If they don't want to make that step forward, then that's all on them. Do not waste your time trying to fight with them to do something for yourself. Do not fight with them. They may be your friends and you may want them on the same level as you, but like I say, you don't control what somebody else is doing. The only thing you do control is removing yourself and focus on yourself, because by the time you're 30, you should have something to show. But a lot of guys are going to be 30 and have absolutely nothing to show. All those people you see partying in their 20s are going to have nothing to show in their 30s. And by the time you're in your 30s, that's when you should be successful or close to success. So that's the time when you can start partying how you want to party. And you can party for the rest of your life. So what's the point of partying in your whole 20s and then you're going to be working from your 30 to 70 instead of working on yourself in your 20, sorry, you be successful by 30 and then enjoy the rest of your life. Travel the world, see the world. Only those with intelligence know this. You have to remove yourself from certain people in order for you to grow, because if you stay there, you'll never grow. I'm telling you. And you may sit down and you may be scared. Oh, I don't want to remove myself because they're going to say this. Who cares what they have to say? Who cares? Why are you caring? You're the one that have the gifts and the talent. You're the one that want to start something else. And you're scared to remove yourself to work on yourself. You're just as bad as them. I'm saying this right now. You're just as bad as them. The best thing you can do in life is remove yourself from situations and work on yourself. I'm telling you this right now. And the reason why you are where you are right now is because of that. Because you're scared. Why are you scared to remove yourself? What are they going to do? Who cares what they want to say? Oh, you got a job now. Blah, blah. Who cares? People will say stuff regardless. Let me tell you something. If you sit down with a bunch of people that are doing nothing for themselves, people are going to say you're doing nothing with yourself. You get up and you remove yourself and you start work on yourself, people are still going to say, oh, you got a job now. You think you're better than everybody else. So what you think, what do you rather them say? That you're a bum or you're trying to be successful? You have to decide what you want people to say, because people will say whatever they want regardless. So you have to really decide what you rather them say. You rather they call you a bum your whole life, or you rather them say, oh, you're arrogant and bunch of this and bunch of this. You don't rather they say you're arrogant and you got a lot of money and you're traveling the world? You don't rather people be jealous of you because you're successful, instead of talking down on you and saying, oh, you're a bum? They pass you every day. You don't even control where the next meal is coming from. You rather they say that about you instead of saying that you're successful and arrogant and you don't care about nobody else but yourself. Me, I rather people say that about me, because they've been saying that. And it's not the fact that I think I'm better than nobody. People just think that I think I'm better than them because of different state of mind. Sometimes you have to remove yourself from those environments, because environment is a big thing. Because people will only go as far as, or however their environment are willing to let them go. I always say this to people. You see a bird that was raised in a cage from birth have no idea how far and how long it can fly unless it's not in the cage anymore. So if it's like a bird, they only can go as far as the cage allow them to go, which is you. That's your environment. So until you remove yourself and put yourself in a different state of mind, a different environment, your lifestyle will start to change and your mentality will start to change. But the reason why you are where you are, I know for a fact you sit down and you feel like you can do so much more, but you don't want to make the step forward because you're so scared of removing yourself because of what other people may say. And let me say it one more time. People will say stuff regardless. It depends on what you want them to say. And it's better they say you're arrogant and you travel in the world and you act like you're better than everybody else, instead of saying you're a bum, you're homeless, you ain't got no money. Because at the end of the day, they will speak regardless. So you have to really look deep within yourself and decide what you rather them say about you. Because they will say something. You may not hear it, you may not see it, but they're saying something. Trust me. And that's something you have to decide. You have to learn to remove yourself. The only thing you control is yourself. A lot of people think they control everybody else. Control. Not if you got kids, not even your own kid you control. Because if you got a kid, how much time will you say, do not do this to your kid? That's you telling them because you're trying to control them. And you say one thing 5 times, 10 times, 15, 20. Not even your own kid you can control. So if you can't control your own kid that live with you, if your kid live with you, or your younger sibling, not say kid, but even your younger sibling, you trying to control them. Oh, mom said you shouldn't do that, or dad said you shouldn't do that, and you still go do that. You can't control your own sibling. You can't control your own kid. So you think you can control people out in the world? Come on. And I know for a fact you sit down where you are and you feel some type of way because you think you can do better. But the only reason why you're not doing better is because you refuse to remove yourself. That's facts. You know it and I know it. If you didn't know why, but that's why. So if you're sitting down with a bunch of people that are unemployed, uneducated, all they want to do is a bunch of nonsense, and you sit down and you feel different where you're arguing with them all the time because you don't want them to do that, that's because you're growing in a different state of mind. And you're arguing because maybe you grew up with them and maybe you're mentally more mature than them, so you don't want to be doing the same thing. So you're arguing, oh, stop doing this. Oh, why are you always doing that? You're growing up. And the only thing you can truly do is remove yourself. I'm not saying you have to cut them off and act like they don't exist. But the older you get, the more you'll realize that your life is in your hands. So if you're in your mid-20s and you still haven't figured that out, or not say mid-20s, if you're around 21, 22, and that's the time you should be able to figure out who you are and what you're doing. So if you're 24, 25, 26 and going up and you still have no idea, then you're a bum. You have no idea what's going on. That's just how it is. But until you remove yourself and start to focus on yourself, like you can't focus on yourself if you're in a bad environment. You have to remove yourself. This is why a lot of people that live in the hood or ghetto, depending on what you call it, this is why a lot of people never say grew above and beyond. Because what you see is what you will do. Kids live whatever they learn. So if you are grown somewhere, you will adapt to whatever you see in the environment. So with that being said, however your environment is, that's how you will be. So most times you have to remove yourself from things you don't like, and then you have to create your own environment. That's just how it is. That's why a lot of people want to move somewhere where there's a lot of rich people because they want to seem rich. Oh, I don't want to live in this area of the city. I want to live in this area because all the rich people live there. But you're not rich, but you want to live there. That's a mentality. But how are you going to do it? You never started working on yourself, so how are you going to live where all the rich people live? You're complaining about the rent or mortgage that's there, but you never started. And the only thing you can do is remove yourself. I strongly recommend, if you got a group of friends and your friends are not doing nothing for themselves, I recommend remove yourself and focus on yourself if you are one of those 5% people that have big dreams from a young age. Because you're not going to get nowhere. Because like I already said, a lot of people want to make the step forward, but they didn't make the step forward. They may not know why, but I'm telling you why. Your friends are the reason, or friends or anyone you hang around with, or your environment. I'm not just going to say friends. But wherever you are, whatever state of mind you're at, whatever environment you're in, depend on how far you're willing to go. And for those people, notice, for you guys that moved away, Notice when you say grew up in an area and you moved away, when you visit area again, you've noticed the change and difference with the environment. Not say the environment, but with yourself. So let's say you were brought up here, and then you moved over here, and then 2 or 3 years you went back because you still got family member there. All your friends that were there, just from you talking to them, you can see that you guys are not on the same level mentally. And especially say, even with school, when you go to school and then you say get summer break for that 3 months off, and then by the time it's September and you go back to school, all those friends that you were playing and talking and being around, when you go back to them after the summer break, you guys are different. Why you think? Because you grew up. Because maybe when on your summer break, maybe you got a summer job and you were learning to be paid while your friends were all over the place doing absolutely nothing. So when you guys go back to school, you learn how to get paid. Maybe you even save all your money and you buy a car. Maybe you're driving a car. It's September and they're still on the bus or still doing something or walking or whatever. So not say that person removed themselves, but they were on school break, so they weren't around those friends. Or say whenever you're with certain friends in class, you're always failing. But when you're in a different class, you're passing. Some people are distractions to you, and that's why you can't really get nowhere. I'm telling you, I know for a fact, a lot of people, they want to make the step forward, but subconsciously, they're scared. They may not know why, but that's the reason why. Because deep down, you don't want to remove yourself because you want to grow together with them. But like I say, you can't control what somebody else may do. You may argue with them and fight with them because you want them to grow with you. But if they want to stay on the same level, that's all on them. You don't control somebody else. So most times, you have to remove yourself from situations. You'll be in a relationship and it's a mess. Oh, my boyfriend cheated on me. Oh, my girlfriend always want to talk to a bunch of guys. The only thing you can do is remove yourself. You can't stop what somebody else will do. You don't control that. You don't. You may argue back and forth because you want to control it, but you don't. You don't control what somebody else may say. You don't control what somebody else is doing. You don't control nothing. The only thing you control is your own mind and removing yourself. So what you rather do? Argue back and forth and mess your whole life up? Or removing yourself, focus on yourself, get the bag, and go see the world? You have to make that decision for yourself because bums, they got nothing to offer to you. You have to remove yourself. You can't grow if you don't remove yourself. Because wherever you are and the type of friends that you have and the type of people you hang around with, they're stopping you from making that step forward because you're worrying about what they may say. But when you remove yourself and you focus on yourself and you're in a mature state of mind, you won't be worrying about what nobody has to say. That's just how it is, and that's just life, and that's reality, and we have to live with it. Because a lot of people think they live in a fairy world. A lot of people think, oh, I'm depressed. I can go to bed and I'm wake up and I'm okay. You're sad now. You wake up, you're going to be sad again. If you got a lot of bills pending when you sleep, they're pending. When you wake up, they're pending again. When you wake up, nothing's going to go away. But a lot of people think, oh, I don't have to worry about this now because all I got to do is sleep and wake up and everything's going to be back to normal. You're going to wake up with the exact same problem day by day until you remove yourself and fix it. That's just how it is. That's just the world that we live in. That's just it. Learn to remove yourself. And let me say one more time before I close this video. The only thing you do control is yourself. You don't control somebody else. So I hope this message was useful for some of you guys. I hope you guys understood what I was saying instead of looking. Hope you guys was paying attention. Remove yourself from all those bumps. Remove yourself. Thank you for watching. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and stay tuned. Your boy will be back doing more stuff. You go enjoy the rest of your day. I'm out. And don't forget to follow me on social media. I post daily on them.